Hi, this is going to be the bridal bouquet portion of the beginner series. So today we're going to be making a organic crescent style freeform bouquet. So what that means is there's no cage, there's no chicken wire or anything in the middle. So just kind of a loose hand tie, but with structure so that it's not falling apart, right? We're going to start off, the greenery is going to be silver dollar eucalyptus, spiral euc or baby euc. We have some Lizzie, we have some Tanzia yarrow. We've also got some beautiful light purple Veronica and some white snapdragon. So I love these. These are line flower. They're just going to give the bouquet some flow. But still everything should coordinate with the bridal or the bridesmaids bouquets as well. Another thing too we're going to pop in there is going to be some blue thistle. And let me get that one prepped up. So again, we can kind of cut the different pieces off, save them for boutonnieres, corsages, flower crowns, whatever that looks like for you, whatever you're needing. Then we want to make sure to take off all the extras. So 50 Flowers, or also known as Farm Exports if you're on the wholesale side already, they supplied us with all of these flowers today in our toolkits. So I'm also using the bunch cutter, along with I have some binding wire, some Oasis tape that we're using. They also gave us some corsage pins and some different things. Okay, so typically whenever I'm creating a freeform, I definitely start with my greenery. So on that, I'm going to start with the silver dollar. So I want to make sure whenever I'm using my stems that I make a spiral so that I'm taking it and not creating, like the first one's gonna be an X, but after that, like it should just keep going around and around and around. Or what's happened is you'll cut the stems and you actually break the stems because they won't be able to breathe. Especially if you're using tulips or anything like that, it'll just break them off. So I'm gonna hold my hand kind of like a C so that it has a place to rest on. You can kind of see we've already got a little bit of an S curve going on. I love to use movement. But how do we keep that, right? So greenery is the start of that, and then it's the choice of flowers as well. So I'm just kind of going around and around. I left my silver dollar a little bit larger on this bouquet just because I wanted to make sure that I have enough movement in the greenery to get that crescent shape. So here's the crescent shape. I've got a little bit of a valley in the middle that doesn't have as much, and then I've got longer on both ends. So my goal is to have a natural curve with greenery kind of going up. And we can do that with this one. I lied, we're actually gonna use him going down because he's not wanting to participate. And then we're gonna have another one going up. And another piece kind of going up. And then we'll have, this one's good for like the middle. So we have this here. So now that's good. If you need to, you could tie off here or you could just keep going. For me, I like to just keep going. We are going to, because these stems are really, really long on the snapdragons, I'm going to cut them down a little bit so that they're easier to manipulate for me. And you want to make sure all the greenery is removed. Anything that's going to be towards the handle needs to be removed. So again, I'm looking at the natural curvature shape of these to make sure that I am going with the bouquet on how I want it to, oh, he's got a vine on him. To make sure that it's going in the direction that I want it to go in. You know, I like to go as natural with the flowers as possible, because then I feel like that's what creates more of a garden style bouquet. If you try to force it, you're usually going into the more modern or traditional side of things. Again, just removing the greenery. You can kind of see like these snapdragons are helping create that shape. Just gonna kind of tuck them in. Sometimes I'll design in front of a mirror, or I'll turn around and kind of look in the mirror. I've used the spiral technique, so none of the stems should get crushed whenever I go to tape it off. Next, even though these are dainty, there's a lot on one stem, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put these in the bouquet. I'm just gonna add a pop of blue in there. Put one towards one side and another on the other. Next, I'm gonna go into the Lizzie. So these have some beautiful, lush, white blooms. I'm gonna kind of go in this little valley that we've created, tuck them down. I also love to use like stock in these. Stock's one of my favorite flowers to work with in bouquets. Again, making sure that the greenery is not you don't want the greenery to ever overtake the flowers unless that is the look you're going for. But when you're going for, you know, soft garden style, it's definitely important to make sure that your flowers are the main focal point. So if you've got to move things around, it's okay. Turn it around. And sometimes if the stems are too long, I just give them a little clip. Definitely makes it easier. I'm gonna put this in the middle. And these recipes would have been pulled days in advance so that I knew what I was missing, what I knew if I needed to replace anything. That way when you go to design, you can focus on designing. Okay, so now we're gonna put in the Tanzia yarrow. We're gonna put this on. And I'm keeping my hand nice and loose. There's definitely a front side and a back side. And if you feel like you need to put any more on the back side, definitely go for it. I've also got some of this really fun Veronica, and it helps with any curvatures that I may be looking for. Again, make the flowers work for you. Putting two together and one on the side just to help disperse that color. So that you can kind of see that it is nice. Makes the bouquet look even in the color palette. Snapdragon's moved a little bit, so I'm gonna move them around. Okay, so then we're also gonna come and use some of this acacia because I feel like I need a little bit more funkiness in here. If you need to tape off your bouquet because you're not able to do this one-handed, absolutely do that. Want to make sure that, you know, you're not straining your hands too much. So again, just kind of going with the natural flow of the bouquet and how the greenery is. And making all the flowers that I'm choosing, making them work for me. And if a shape doesn't work, then take it out and put a different shape in there. So I want to add, because we don't want the back to be super, super blank, we want to make sure that there's something back there pretty for the bride to look at. We're going to take it and then we're going to add some Lizzie at this back here. Just some beautiful white blooms. Again, removing any greenery that would be wrapped in the bouquet. And that would make a fun boutonniere, so we're gonna keep that. So again, I would normally look in the mirror, make sure that it is the shape that I want it. If I felt like, you know, kind of the valley closed up a little bit, so I may move this one down here to just kind of open this area up. I could clip some back, pop some out, move it around. But once you start to get your basic shape, it's easy to start manipulating the greenery wherever you want it. So from there, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tie it off. Again, using waterproof tape. You could have this pre-torn in advance if you're not able to do it one-handed. That way it's ready to go for you. And then we just take it. You can see the spiral on the curves. Super important. Can't stress that enough. And just wrap it around. Again, and then we'll hide that. You can see it kind of splays open once it's nice and clean. With the wrap. And cut it. It's a nice fresh cut. And then you have your bouquet. So right now I've cut about 1.5 yards. I am just literally, I'm gonna take it and wrap it around twice so that it's secure, because we don't want it falling apart on wedding day. And we're just gonna take it and we're gonna do a double knot on it. Keep it simple and easy. And then we'll clean up the ends with a nice pair of ribbon scissors. Nope. And that is that.